Today, we're going to talk about taxes and how they are important for your immigration case. Hi, my name is Audra Doyle, and I am the owner and attorney of Doyle Law here in Atlanta, Georgia. And you would be surprised how much your taxes come into play in your immigration application. So today we're going to talk about that. I'm going to go over several key issues that I see again and again with my clients, and hopefully give you some best practices to take away for your own tax matters. So the number one thing to know is that right now it is tax season. Most people's taxes are due on April 15th each year. And if you are behind schedule, you haven't prepared it, April 15th is coming, then you have the option of submitting an extension request to the IRS, and you will get a letter back from the IRS that says your extension has been granted. You have until maybe October 15th to file your taxes. So number one, it is possible for you to get an extension if you need it. The next thing I want to share with you is about your filing status. This is something that definitely comes into play with my clients because if you are married, you only have two choices. You should file married filing jointly or married filing separately. Nothing else. Not head of household, not single. If you are married, lawfully married, it needs to be one of those two choices. And I had a client recently say that she is married, but she's been filing head of household because she did not have an ITIN. And so I asked a few more questions. Turns out she has a Social Security number. So that's even better than having the ITIN, which means individual tax ID identification number. That's what it means. So filing status is very important. If both spouses have either the ITIN or the Social Security number, then you need to be filing married filing jointly or married filing separately. And just keep in mind that I am an immigration lawyer, not a tax lawyer. So everything I say to you today are suggestions for you. And my big advice is for you, if you have these questions, to find a qualified, competent tax preparer. It can be a CPA, it can be a tax attorney, it can be even H&R Block if they do a good job, or one of those other tax preparer companies around the country. But get some help with your application for the IRS. Don't make any mistakes on that. Okay, so with the tax returns, as I mentioned before, you can have either the Social Security number, but a lot of my clients do not have that number yet. So what should they do? I recommend applying for an ITIN, and it is a process that you go through with the IRS. See if you can get through it and see if you can get that number approved for yourself. It is not the same as a Social Security number, but it will help you to file your tax returns. Okay, the last thing I want to share with you is how taxes come into play on your immigration forms. Let's start with the I-864 form. That's the affidavit of support. And on a page further along, I want to say is page 5, they ask you, what is your total income for the last 3 years? And for that, you will need to look at your tax return and get the information directly from your tax return. You also can download a tax transcript from the IRS website. You fill in the information, you make an account, and you can see your transcripts. And those will be very helpful for your immigration case. I believe that 3 transcripts are automatically are automatically provided to you when you go to the IRS website. So that's it for the 864. You're going to need that information. But what if on the most recent year you have filed an extension? So on the 864, when it says most recent tax year and you know it's 2022 and you have an extension, you write the year or whatever year you're in now, and you write extension filed, and then you submit proof from the IRS that says your extension request has been accepted. That will be okay for your case. And then, you know, it needs to be done with the IRS by the extension deadline. Okay, so the other time that taxes really come into play is with your naturalization application. This is where you want to become a U.S. citizen. One of the questions on the forms is, have you ever failed to file your tax return because you thought you were a non-resident? Another question says, do you owe any overdue taxes? So there are questions on the forms about taxes for citizenship, and they want to make sure that you are filing your taxes every year like you're supposed to, that you're properly selecting whether or not you're a permanent resident, whether or not you're married, and they're looking to see if you're playing games with the IRS, because that's an indication that you do not have good moral character. And on your citizenship application, you have to show that you have good moral character. So that was just a lot of information about taxes. I hope that some of these tips have given you some information that you didn't have before. And like I said at the beginning and the middle, I'm going to say it at the end, I always recommend that you have a competent, qualified tax preparer to do your taxes. It does affect your immigration application, so I really suggest that you get them done correctly. As usual, don't forget to click the circle and make sure that you are going to get notifications when I put up new videos here on YouTube, and let us know if you have any questions.